Right, I'm live, Aiden.
Oh, I'm on LTE.
Oh yeah, it's okay. Hey there, folks. It's 7Demo7. I'm just going to start a quick live stream here in my studio. We're going to go over a few things. Things are coming up on the channel. My son is here. We've been at my office quarantining. My office is pretty safe because I'm a one-man operation at my hub. So that's pretty sweet. Right, Aiden?
Yep.
Okay, so let's see here. Okay, we'll get started here in just a second. And I actually forgot about what the things I'm going to talk about.
The wing replacement.
The wing replacement, yeah. So, hey everyone, it's 7Demo7. Let me know if you guys can hear me and all that stuff. I'll check the live stream here in just a second. But yeah, so I'm doing just a little bit of work here in the office today. I brought my son to work, and we had some airplane projects to do as well. And we're gonna head out and fly this guy here in just a bit. So the timber, what we did with the timber today is we actually had to take off the wings and replace the wings with new wings because the original wings that I got for the timber were actually the right one actually tilted up a little bit.
Dad, it's Skinnerd.
What?
Skinnerd.
Skinnerd? What do you mean?
Leonard Skinnerd.
What do you mean? Ian, come over here. Say hi.
He said, "Hey, Jeff."
Oh, Leonard Skinner said hi?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Skinnerd FPV. Hello.
Oh, Skinner FPV. Okay, well, you got to tell me their whole name. Otherwise I don't recognize them. Hi, everyone. So I figured since we're all quarantining, well, most of us are quarantining, you know, it'd be nice to just talk to you guys and say hi. And Aiden, he will let me know if there's any questions or whatever. So anyway, so we did a servo replacement on this because Horizon Hobby, being the awesome people that they are, I showed them pictures of my warped wings, and they sent me a new set. So today I was taking the servos out of the old wing into the new wing, and they sent me a new sticker set as well, which is pretty cool. But I'm actually going to be painting this airplane in like a red, white, and blue scheme, which should be pretty cool. If you guys have ever seen Palmer's channel, is it Chad Palmer?
NH Jim says, "I can hear you all the way from New Hampshire."
Okay, cool. Thanks, NH Jim. But yeah, so there's a guy who owns a Kit Fox, is in a really cool red, white, and blue scheme. So I think I'm going to be painting this in that scheme. So this airplane, I actually had quite a few problems with it out of the box. I got it from my local hobby store, but initially the initial ESC was dead. It gave power to all the servos, but it had no throttle in it. So I called up Horizon Hobbies, and they sent me a new ESC. And after flying it for a while, it was flying great, but I noticed that difference in the wings, I had to really fly with a lot of aileron correction to correct the wing. And Aiden, please don't put any filters on there.
I didn't put on any filters.
My son's playing with my phone. So,
but I could put on some filters.
let me tell you, guys, that these wings are some of the most different wings that I've ever seen. As far as, if you'll notice on the bottom here, you can't see any of the control rods at all. That's because they're buried inside these little hatches here. So it was actually quite easy to get those servos out. They're not glued in. There's a little a 3-bolted little pocket that you actually bolt the servo into, which is really cool. But one of the reasons why this airplane flies so well is that it has this little bit of a dip down in the aileron here, because a lot of times when the aileron goes up and the other one goes down, sometimes there's a lot of drag on this upper aileron, and we'll get what's called adverse yaw. So what happens is when this aileron goes up, a little portion of it goes down to help to combat that. So I've never actually seen that on any scale airplanes or any foamy airplanes especially. But I really love the detail that there's actually no control rods hanging out here on the bottom, which is really nice. Aiden, please turn that down. And of course the flaps are super effective. And my son's been flying this airplane for quite a bit.
Yes, I
Why
have.
don't you come over here and just say?
Yes,
So-
it's very muy interesante. I can't speak Spanish.
Well, let's talk to the people out here instead of talking down.
Yes, so I find it very interesting how the flaps flap.
How they barn door down.
Yes.
Yeah, I knew that's what you were going to say. Anyway, Aiden's been flying the airplane. I've been actually really impressed by how he's learned his nose-in orientation. He learned that from the Cub. We have a little sport Cub, and it's a little 2-ounce thing. It's about this big. And he's also learned kind of nose-in orientation from cars as well, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so, which is pretty cool. So anyway, replace the wings on my Timber. These aren't bad, and the wings are a little bit better here, but I have a feeling it's the molding that these little nubs go into the fuselage. It still flies great, so I'm not really complaining about
Dad, I've
any of
been
this
doing
stuff.
lots of aerobatics.
Yes, he's been doing lots of aerobatics, rolls and loops. All right. As a lot of you guys know, if you're following me on social media, by the way, you guys can also follow me. I've got a Facebook page, which is 7Demo7 forum group, which is where we have about 300 people there that help share ideas. And if you have videos you want to promote, anything like that, it's a great place to come to. So we've got the DX9, which is my go-to radio, and we have the new Jumper TX, which is Jumper Pro V2, which means that it has hang on a second. So it means that it has Hall effect gimbals. It has OpenTX on it. It has the internal module, and it also has internal charging as well. So I actually have a 5,000 milliamp back here. Yes.
MK asks if you have the UMX Timber.
I do not have the UMX Timber, but I hear that flies great, and I hear that the Turbo Timber, which is the old Timber, this is an old Timber, you can't get it anymore, and also the UMX Timber you can't get it anymore unless you find it at your local hobby store. So all that you can get nowadays is the UMX, is the Turbo Timber in the UMX and the large version.
And also Skinnerd FPV said, "How are you enjoying the flying, Aiden?" Dad, would you like to answer that question?
Aiden, how are you enjoying the flying?
So I think it's very, very fun. Aerobatics are the most fun.
Yes.
And I've almost crashed the Timber a couple times,
yes.
but I haven't yet.
Yes. And he's also flown my 1.2 meter Trojan,
which is very fun.
Which is very, very fun. It's very, very fast because I have it on 4S instead of 3S, and we buddy box on that, and he flies it really well. It's such a straight flyer. It's a great airplane to learn on. I wish that it had the safe situation on it, which would be nice. So guys, back to the Jumper. It's been a great radio. Now, I know that a lot of people have had problems with the Jumper as far as the ribbon cables that are in the inside coming loose, and then all of a sudden you suddenly don't have a function on your phone. A lot of guys take, there's a little piece down here which is the little vibration sensor, so the vibration alert. Some people will actually unplug that so that it doesn't have the vibration going through the radio, and so a lot of people are suspecting that that's the reason why the ribbon cables are becoming unseated. I just did a quick measurement. These sticks are very short for my liking. Now, I just extended them to their longest positions, which are, I wrote that down. So the sticks that I have them at right now are really, really good. And I have them at 32 millimeters right now. That's from the base of the stick out to the very tip. And the Spectrum ones, which is the one I'm used to, are 37 millimeters. So still a 5 millimeter difference. So I might eventually replace these sticks with some taller ones. And I understand that Jumper does make some Pro sticks, which would be really, really nice. But right now, even the 5 millimeter difference, right now, I can feel it, but it feels so much better than when these sticks were all the way at the lowest point. So it's really easy to adjust the sticks. You basically unscrew it just like a nut. You unscrew it until it's at its length that you like, and then you take the bottom half of the stick and then move it towards the stick, and you lock it into place. I have not had any problems with this radio at all. I've done a couple long-range flights with my FX61. I've done flights with my Trojan, and I really like the feel of the radio. I love the versatility of the programming, the Tyrannus programming. Now, of course, I've had a Tyrannus X9D for a long time, but honestly, I didn't do any programming with it because I programmed it to one quadcopter, one time, and that was all I needed to do with it. I did fly one airplane with it, and I had a friend help me set it up, but now I'm learning how to program full what do they call it, the full house glider setup where you've got Crow, thanks to Andrew Newton's video that I had with that. So as really nice. So I've got several large gliders. So now once I program one airplane once, I can take that, copy it, and then rename it for a new glider, and it's been really, really cool. I don't know if I have one of the receivers here with me. Do you remember where if I had a jumper receiver here?
No, they're all at home.
Okay, so I've also bought 4 jumper receivers, $11 each. They are it's called a D8, and they bind right up to the jumper. So I'm going to have a lot more of my airplanes here that don't have receivers in them. They're going to get receivers pretty soon, which is pretty cool. Ian, would you hand me the 3D airplane?
Yes, we now have 9 people on the chat, and if anybody has any questions, please
All right.
speak up.
My son said that we have 9 people in the chat right now, and if we have any questions, he will relay them to me when I have a break. All right, so guys, I've been flying with a new group in my new. We moved, so we have a new location that I live, and I got to fly one of my friend's 3D airplanes. I really, really liked it. And I ended up doing a favor for one of those guys out there, and he my friend Steve. So Steve, I did a favor for him. He said, "Hey, well, why don't I just cut you out a foam board? I think it's called a Halon, which is this guy right here. So all I have to do right now with this is to install the servos and the receiver and the battery pack, basically. But he did a wonderful job. I don't know if you guys can see how clean his lines are. And this foam board is not very warped at all. That's typically what happens with these foam board airplanes as they get warped. You can see that he's got a carbon spar in here that's going to make this thing really fly well. I like the fact that the 3D airplanes are so lightweight and they're very simple, and you can basically kind of fly through the air and kind of just carve up, the sky. And it falls kind of like a feather. It's almost like you can control a feather very precisely in the way that these things fly. I've never flown 3D before. I have a 3D foamy that I have at home that I've kind of practiced on. It's a bit heavy though for what it is. It's not like one of these guys here. But I'm super psyched to get this thing up in the air.
Dad, we have a question from MK.
MK.
He says, where are you flying, and are you still flying with social distancing? Kite Hill question?
Yeah, okay. Hang on a second.
So he's not flying at Kite Hill as much now.
Right.
And it's actually closed down, right, Dad?
Yeah, actually, Aiden, come here.
Yes.
All right, let's see here.
Oh, Dad, you know what would be interesting? What if you showed them some planes that you haven't shown on your
Okay,
channel
so
before?
the question was, are we flying at Kite Hill anymore? I was before the pandemic. So the pandemic came around, and the Kite Hill is part of a parks program, so all the parks are closed. So we are not flying at Kite Hill. And actually, we're going to take the timber right now out to. So Kite Hill is in Laguna Niguel, California, and we are going to be going over to a field in Irvine to go fly the timber right now. So it's going to be pretty cool.
And he asked, where are you flying now?
So the spot where you guys are seeing a lot of my videos from are in Rancho Cucamonga, which is where we live now, and it's basically a kind of a frontage road. It doesn't get a whole lot of traffic, but these guys have been meeting out there for quite some time now, and we are social distancing even when we get together and fly, like on Saturday and Sundays. We get together and fly, but we still keep our distance from each other. We're not touching each other. We're not high-fiving. We're not, fist bumping, anything like that. Oh, thank you, Aiden. My son gave me a thumbs up. That's really cool. But it's really nice. So it kind of backs up to kind of a freeway off-ramp, and we have hundreds and hundreds of feet in front of us and some houses to the left. We try and stay away from the houses, right, Aiden? Aiden tends to take the airplanes way off to the left.
Yeah, the Trojan canopy actually popped off above the houses, and we couldn't get it back. But we actually did eventually. This dude drove over, and he knew about the airplanes, and he said, hey, is this any of your guys' canopies? And it was ours for the Trojan.
That's right, yeah. Yeah, I was
really lucky.
I keep warning Aiden, because it gets really far away very quick. So I keep telling him, hey, make sure you keep that airplane closer.
Hard to.
It is hard to, because he's having so much fun. Any other things going on? So we're actually going to take out the Nano Talon as well. We're gonna, since that has a little bit of a flight controller in it, Aiden's gonna try and fly that as well.
Are
So
there any planes that you haven't shown on this channel?
Aiden's asking me, is there any planes I haven't shown on the channel? It's probably the Hobby King T-tail, the V-tail thing. Trying to look at the planes I have here. Anyway, this stuff that's behind me, so I kind of have like studio over here, then I have dental lab over here. Dental lab is my profession. I make orthodontic appliances for orthodontists, basically. So yeah, and also another thing that's going on is there is all the drift tracks are closed as well, so I can't get out and drift either. So Christian Linman says, now today, Texas governor extended the isolation for schools to the beginning of May. He might as well just cancel school until the next year. That's my suspicion, is that the school year is going to just get closed out for the rest of this year. That's my prediction. Yeah. There's the EFX Racer. Yeah, Aiden, if you smell the front end of that, you should smell kind of a fiery smell. That's the EFX Racer that I had.
Figuring it out.
I moved the ESC from the back behind the canopy to underneath the battery, and there wasn't not enough air in there, and my ESC caught fire. I had scale smoke coming out of that thing. It was pretty crazy. So that was up at Kite Hill. I was flying around. I was doing like full speed passes. I actually, instead of having a 2300 kV motor in there, I put in a 3000 kV motor. I was running it on 4S with a very hot ESC. So as soon as I saw scale smoke pouring out of it, I was like, "Oh crap! That's got to be the lipo battery." But it ended up being the ESC. So what happened was, I was making a pass, and also I see a stream of smoke coming out of it. I was like, "Uh-oh, better get down to the ground." Started flying it towards the ground. Suddenly, I lost RC control as well, because the ESC was burning, which cut off power to the motor and everything else. So, but I was able to get it down onto the ground, which was pretty cool. But I reached in, I went to pull out the battery, which I was sure was going to be on fire, and I was very shocked. I'm like, "Oh, that's not on fire." I looked down inside the fuselage, and that was starting to burn away all the foam.
Dad,
So
MK asks, what is the Facebook group again? And you should get an UMX Timber. I fly it on the street. Amazing.
yes,
Also an Ultrix, which I'm looking forward to the weekend to mate it.
the
I'm not
Ultrix,
sure to Ultrix.
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 Yeah, I forget what the Ultrix is. If you don't mind reminding me what that is. I know so many people that have the UMX Timber, and they all love it just as much as they like the large size Timber as well. So I would love to get the UMX Timber. Actually, let's see, what airplane am I looking at right now? The Air Tractor. I really like the the yellow. It is basically a agriculture airplane. It looks really cool. So the other thing, I'm trying to work on my landlord downstairs who owns the automotive garage down below me. I'm working on him to try and get him to approve of me doing some tiny whoop races down here. So I've been in touch with Albert Kim and also my friend Sam M. And I want to get a core group of guys to do an initial 7Demo7 tiny whoop race through my office here. Now, this office is a very small portion of this building. There's a room over here with some cool doorways and windows to fly through. And when you fly through this window in the back here, if you search my channel for Tiny Whoop, you'll see some of us doing some racing through here. We fly out into an automotive garage. We're on the second floor. You can fly downstairs, upstairs, inside, outside. If we open up both front doors, it would be really cool to hold an official Tiny Whoop race here. So I've been talking to the guy downstairs. He's like, "I don't know if my insurance would cover that." I'm like, "Dude, if there was any damage that happened out here, I would be liable for it, obviously. But obviously, Tiny Whoops, you can fly them full speed into your face and you wouldn't do any damage. So it wouldn't damage any of the cars downstairs. I think that's what he's worried about.
Oh,
So
no, Dad. You got a disc flag.
Oh, I got to just like, hey man, I'm not going to satisfy everybody. All right, so let's see here. Let me just show you guys what I'm looking at here. So there's the Hobby King plane. I forget, this is like a copy of another airplane, but it's got a V-tail. This is a pretty good copy of it, but except it's just a little too heavy. It doesn't slope very well unless you've got really crazy slope winds. Going up to the ceiling here, this is my Corsair, which I have set up with a FPV thing on here. Aiden, please don't, Aiden. Oh, Aiden, you can take that. You can bring it out. There's the Sonic model thingy up there, which I haven't flown yet. That has no servos in it. There's my Hobby King Trojan. We got the Ranger, and here's the mini Drac, the famous mini Drac, and the many car bodies. Okay, hold that up so everyone can see it. So yeah, I need to get that thing out and fly it. It's such a well-built airplane. Now that thing's gone into the ground at 80 miles an hour a couple times, and it still looks that great. It's pretty awesome. Let's keep going back here. We have the KA8. Powerless glider, great for the slope. You can slope this thing on almost no wind. It's really great. And of course there is, I can't, the EFX Racer. We got the Mini Talon over there. Anything else on the other side? I don't think so. Yep. So about 5 airplanes have migrated towards my house, which is great. I can just grab an airplane and go. The flying field is only about 10-15 minutes away from where I live. Oh, I almost forgot, guys. Hang on. Phoenix Evolution, 100-inch wingspan. Slowpoke. I just put a nice scarf on the pilot there. My daughter helped me make. Over there's the Dart XL. Not a bad flyer. It's actually not bad. And then, of course, the Hardcore 44 is right over here. I'm gonna be building some balsa elevons for this airplane. I'm gonna cut those stock ones off because the stock ones kind of curve up like this. And when you fly fast with this Dart XL, when you give it full throttle, it tends to pitch up like this. So, hey Truman, how's it going, buddy? I'm just doing kind of a live stream here since we're all caught up in this quarantine thing. There's my son. You may not have seen him for a while. So anyway, I'm actually coming to the end of this. We're coming up on 22 minutes. I'm gonna head on home. We're gonna go fly at the Irvine field off of Sand Canyon there. In case anyone's in the area, you can come join us if you guys know where that is. But just relaxing here at my office, getting some work done, some final work. I have about a week and a half of work to hi Aiden. Oh, nice Aiden. I have about a week and a half of work to keep me busy until I need to
Wait, Dad, I have an idea. Hold on. Wait.
Oh boy. Aiden, please. All right.
Yes.
Okay, that's enough. Aiden, I need to sign off.
Okay.
Aiden, come on over here. Let's sign off.
Oh, that looked cool because you kept seeing me take my phone out, then put it back, and in that phone you'd see it, take it back and put it. All right. All right,
guys. Well, thanks for joining us here. Enjoying the Timber. If you ever get a chance to fly one, I highly suggest it. Flies unlike any other plane that I've ever flown. Even my Fun Cub, it flies very different than my Fun Cub.
Make sure to put on the slats.
Make sure to put on the slats because that's what makes it fun. It makes it so slow. And there's a lot of joy in going slow, almost like drifting a car.
And it makes it very fun to roll while going directly up. Mm-hmm. And NH Jim says, thanks for the hangar tour. Fly safe and have fun.
I am going to scroll through you guys' messages and see if there's anything.
You've answered most of them.
I've answered most of them? Okay. The other thing I wanted to ask you this on camera. Yes. So, remember I built a drift car that you and Margot used to drift. Tell me, what did you not like about drifting?
I didn't like that it was so slow and precise, and that it took too much skill. Airplanes are just more fun.
It's so isn't that funny that Aiden thinks that drift cars take more skill than airplanes?
They do.
That's hilarious.
They do. They take way more skill.
You hear that, guys? If any of you guys are on my channel and they're like, "Oh, this drifting stuff is so silly," you guys honestly don't know
It's hard.
how much skill it takes to get a clean drift. And when you get a clean drift, oh, it's so satisfying. All right, let me just take a quick peek and see if there's any other things. All parks are closed.
Hey, Dad, do you think you'll ever do anything on your channel about your card obsession?
I have posted like a card trick. And also the Facebook group for MK. It is 7Demo7 forum group. Just sign up there, and I will approve you and all that good stuff. Mr. Huggy says, "You gonna make a drift track at home?" Unfortunately, I can't. Let's see here. All right, let me just quickly looking through you guys' comments. Okay, that looks like is a good place to stop. Anyway,
Right.
guys, thanks for joining me. I should have a lot of content, especially coming up with the T16 V2 Pro. The Timber, I'm gonna do a full review on the Timber, which is gonna be positive. I can tell you that right now. Besides the unpositive things that I have mentioned on this video, actually. Anyway, guys, I appreciate you guys joining me. I will talk to you on the next one.